we are. All right, here we are. Here we are. Here we are. All right, here we are. Here we are. All right, number 72, Rogue. For sale. Sprit. There's the boat. There's all the sails. A2 runner, A5 reacher, the main, jib, and code 0. Plus all the original sails. But yep, this is it. So this is the trailer. It's a dual axle, easy loader. Tires all in great shape. It's got hydraulic brakes, and the hydraulic brakes all work. And I've topped off the fluids in that. And I got a new wiring harness and all new lights. So it's got new LED lights back there. And let's see here. So here's the rudders, and so you'll see we've got some like UV. It's just the sun has damaged it. It's not a bubble or anything. It's perfectly fair and everything. It's gorgeous. But yeah, it's just the sun, because you can see on this side it's beautiful. But then you come to this side, the sun has gotten it. So yeah, and then you can see we've got back here, we got, I call them the vortex deflectors, but it just helps with keeping the rudders from ventilating when we're tight reaching. Something the modern minis have done, and something I put on, and it's worked really well for us. So you can see at the bottom is extremely fair. It's beautiful. It's the bulb. It's just the keel itself. It's a lead bulb down there, and then it's a carbon fin, and that is 900 pounds. And the whole boat dry is 2,000 pounds. See where the daggerboards come out? So there's the daggerboard, and then you can see the keel. It's not bolted on, it pivots there. And then you can see I put some millionaire's tape right there, because this whole section here and this section here is just, it's filler, and it's about 5/8 of an inch thick of filler to where the actual keel bolts are. And you don't want to put glass over it, because if you got to remove the keel, then you got to dig out all the glass. So this, you just have the filler. So that's why it's cracked just a tiny bit, you can see, but it's not structural at all. We pulled the entire keel off, rebuilt it, all new keel blocks, everything, and you can see that in my other videos as well. Okay, here we are up on deck on the boat, and you can see all the craziness that is the rigging of a mini Transat. You can see here, reef 3, jib hired, main hired, that's jib tack, that's fractional tack or 0 tack. We got the boom vang that runs here. This is the jib in and out. So one's the jib in and out, so you can adjust that. So inboard is right here, and then outboard is here. So you can infinitely adjustable jib lead that goes through that low friction ring right there. And then you've got your board down control, and then over here is board up control. And so if you uncleat that and then you look, the board goes down. If I pull on this line here, so board goes down. And so some people ask, like, why is there tiller extensions? Well, the thing is you gotta have a tiller extension there, because if you had a full length daggerboard that went all the way that height, when your mainsail's out, it'll poke into the boom, or sorry, the board will poke into the main. So by having the battle stick there, it wiggles around when it's on the leeward side there, so you will not poke a hole in your main. And then so if you want the board to come up, you uncleat here, and then pull up. Oops, sorry. Try to hold the camera with one hand. And then there's the board coming back up. All right. So we'll leave that down so you guys can see when I go back down below how far it sticks out. So there it is there. And then let's see, both sides you've got these really cool, like their footrests, their seats, and their awesome line holders for everything, or sheet bags. So we got that. Looking here, so this is for the running backs. This is your gross tune, and so this is what you blow when you're going through a jive. But yeah, we got the gross tune, and then what we do is we actually have a cam cleat here. And so before you go for a jibe, you cleat it off here, let that guy off there, and then as you go through the jibe, you pop this guy off, and then you pull in on the other side. You pull on your new windward running back. So there's that. So we've got that control, and then we've got the fine tune, which is this line there, and that does that block and tackle there. So you try to get it in as hard as you can with the gross. You gotta close the clutch. So you get that in as hard as you can, and then you pull on the fine tune to get the extra load on. And then also the way how I let it, if you look here, it'll go right to your winch. So there's just the two winches on the boat, but we've got, like, for the jib sheets, they come through these foot blocks with the jammers, so you can jam those guys off to free it up. And yeah, we've got reef 1, reef 2, frac halyard, spin halyard, tack line. And then these are the guys that, this is how you control the pole. Okay, so to put the to rotate the Sprit, if you look, there's actual bungee cord, like really strong bungee cord right there, and that kind of works as the pole uphaul or whatever, or topping lift if you want to call it, to keep the pole from hitting the water. So it helps with the spring load of it going out. So what we're gonna do is I've released this guy clutch, and then you'll see the pole. Try not to joust the Class 40. And our Sprit is longer than that Class 40. So now the Sprit is basically out. And cleat that off that clutch, and then we can go over here to this side, and we can pull on the guy on that side. I'm sorry, trying to do this. Pull that on, and then you've got your bobstay, which is fully adjustable. And so I pull on this, bobstay goes down, and then let me just watch. I'm just gonna pull on the guy on that side. So now it's super snug. So you can see these struts working like spreaders to help support that Sprit out there. So, and that's how that is. And then like when there's like the code 0 hanging out there, it can be a little bit hard to get it to swing out there. And so then we have this nice yellow line here, and that goes to that little Sprit at the end, and you just pull on it, and that'll rotate the Sprit out as well. So that's that. You can see Sprit's pretty far out there, and then halfway right there, that's the J0 tack, or the frac tack right there. It's on a 2-to-1, and then we come back, and then you can see the whole apparatus rotates right there on this cool custom thing that we had our metal shop make, actually right there. So yeah, we got leaves all over from the storm. Okay, so there's that, and then you can see this is the LS carbon fiber head stay with the Dyneema chafe sleeve over the top of it. So it's pretty bitchin'. And let's see, and then this block and tackle 6-1 here on the deck is our Solent stay. So that's when we are down on the 3rd reef, and we've got a reef in the jib. Then we need to support this big mast in the middle, otherwise it'll start inverting with that big main. And so you pull this on from the cockpit. So there's the boom, and you can kind of see up close to these poles, so they flex around. And there's the jib lead right there. And then, yeah, so we're coming back this way, and I'll show you how the keel cants. So this is another super cool, unique feature of this boat. So you look here, you got like a kind of a seat looking thing. So you undo the hatch. So you got that unhatched, and then that's our sealed thing. But if you look, so now that's your seat. You can sit there and you can see around. So here is the keel. There's the keel head, and then we've got our little tent or skirt. And so that's filled with water when we're in the water. It's filled up in there. And then the skirt keeps the water from splashing out. So when we get really ripping and pounding off waves, you know, every once in a while we get like a geyser, a little shoot out the top of that. But it's pretty rare. So yeah, and then you can see the angle there of the keel box, and that's as far over as we can cant. So we can cant at a 45-degree angle. The brand new modern ones, I swear they can cant at like 90 degrees out from the hull, but I'm not sure. But yeah, so the way how it works is we've got the clutch here, and then a clutch over here, and you pull. So you pull on the one you want it to pull to, that you want it to cant to. So this is on the, so you pull on the weather side. So if we're on a port tack and we want the keel canted on the port side, then we pull on the port clutch. So that's why they're crossed in there. But yeah, so then you just pull on the one, and this, you know, that's the weather one. So what we do is we clutch that off, and then we leave the other one released, and then you pull here, and then you got a 6-1 block and tackle that you pull it up with. And so we usually, you know, you can pull it up by yourself just by pulling on it if it's not too windy. If it's windy, then you can take it to the winch, and we're set up to go straight to the winch for that. Or what we like to do is prior to the tack is we'll drop the keel to leeward. It's a little awkward, but it definitely saves the pain of trying to cant the boat. But yeah, so you drop it to leeward. So yeah, let me take you inside. Okay, we're inside the boat now, and yeah, it's tiny in here. It's a mini. It's called a mini for a reason. But yeah, so there's up in the bow. If you look here, these are our positive flotation class rules. Say that you have to have positive flotation glass into the boat. So in event of getting holed, the boat will remain neutral, it won't completely sink. So yeah, and then you can see we've got the crash bulkhead up there. And it's got brand new headstay tang up there. And then yeah, you can see the mast, and then the through holes for depth and speed up there. And then we swing around, and you can see these right here. That's the daggerboard box on the starboard side, and then daggerboard box on the port side. And then if you look here, these guys are the new chain plates the composite chain plates that I built and vacuum bagged in. So those are the underside of those guys. And let's see here. So you got your little, whatever, quarter berth back here. You got one of those on either side with the lee cloth. And then the same thing on that side. We use that side usually just for sail locker storage, or just, yeah, for sail storage. And so yeah, so we've got, this is the batteries for the Torqeedo. So we got the 2 batteries right there. And then there's the Torqeedo. So we had that custom made from Torqeedo. So it essentially looks like a a super awesome trolling motor in that form, but that's so that it can live on our transom, because our transom's got a lot going on back there with dual rudders and it's kind of a pinch transom, so there's not much room you can't put an outboard on. There's just no room. So we had this thing specially built, and it works really well. So we've got the 2 batteries for that. And let's see, yeah, you can see back here, we've got our, we call Ray Ray, that's our tiller pilot. We've got 2 batteries. There's one on either side here. Our battery switch, and then if I can see it, there we go. We've got an inverter as well, and we use the inverter so that we can top off the Torpedo batteries while we're out on the water racing, to make sure we've got enough range. And so you can see we've got 2 50-watt solar panels that are mounted there on the floor. And then, pardon the noise here, it's gonna be kind of loud, but this is our wind instrument, whatever, instrument pod. So it's Raymarine, but you got your wind, you got your depth, or sorry, that's your speed, and then there's depth. And it's on these cool tube things, and so plug your ears, move it so that it just sits there in the cockpit, and I'll show you from outside in the cockpit in a second. And then we've got the same thing here for our iPad. iPad does not come with the boat, but you can put your iPad on there, or laptop or whatever, for navigation. And then we've got our VHF with the mic there, and then this is our Victron battery monitor, and then it's just a really simple panel. We've just got the nav lights, VHF, instruments, and then we've got the outlets here, so you can plug in your phone or whatever into there. And then this is pretty awesome. That is for the tiller pilot. So it's, yeah, the remote, so that you just wear it around your neck and you can steer the boat from wherever you are on the boat. And amazingly, because there's not that much helm on this boat, the tiller pilot actually keeps up pretty good with it. So yeah, so that's pretty good. Obviously, if you were to do some serious offshore, you'd upgrade to do with a B&G with a RAM or any of the other bigger, higher end autopilot systems. So yeah, here you can see the display there. So you can move it out of the way if need be, or we basically just leave it there until we're dousing spinnakers or need to go down below. But yeah, so you can see it. You can, you know, turn it at the angle so that you can see it better wherever you're driving or sitting. So it's nice. But yeah, so you got a footrest here in the cockpit, and then got the tiller extension, and then you look back here, and this is just the craziness that is this boat. And that is, you've got your dual rudders, so the Torpedo fits right in there, and then you turn the head of the motor 90 degrees so that it tucks in beautifully right there, so you can still steer and everything. And then yeah, but you can see there's not much room here between the tie rods and the tiller, and then so you got the 2 running back mounts there as well. So there's a lot going on back here. So, and then there's this was originally a solar panel mount, so we could always put a solar panel up there, but yeah, I've just got these guys down here, and they do a pretty good job of just keeping the batteries topped off, and yeah, they will recharge during the day. Will be if we drain them, but yeah, they do pretty good. And then yeah, we got the aft sheeting back here, and then yeah, it's pretty simple carbon boom. But yeah, double spreader rig, and yeah, and it's Dyneema, and I'll take you a closer look at that. So this is the SK99 heat set preset Dyneema from New England Ropes, so that's what we use here. And then this is lashing line, same thing, SK99 preset or pre-stretch heat set, and then I put a Dyneema chase sleeve over like the bottom section where like jib sheets and stuff or spin sheets might be going over. But yep, and then they're just lashed off to these cool chain plates composite chain plates that I built. And yeah, and then if you look, so when we rebuilt the boat. We just didn't know what kind of animal we had. And so this was the original chain plates that came with the boat. And then I was like, well, we're gonna go Dyneema, so let's go with a wider spreader base. So then I made these composite chain plates out there. And then we discovered how noodly this mast is, because it's almost 50 feet tall. And the running backs are an absolute must with a rig like that. And so we decided that it was best to move it back, chain plates back here, to give you more support in the rig. So now, instead of inline spreaders, we've got these super swept back spreaders, just like the modern minis. And so now the rig doesn't come down if you don't have the runners on immediately. So very cool. All right, so just looking back, so just one other thing. So if you look, there's a pole eye on the mast, and so it's actually, you can actually sail this boat with symmetrical kites. It's got symmetrical kites as well as asymmetricals. So that's how it was originally rigged for its first couple mini Transats. But yeah, so there we go. Let me know if you have any other questions about the boat. But yeah, this is Rogue number 72. So this is the 72nd mini Transat ever built. 4-time finisher of the Transat. Last time it did it was in 1999, and it got 4th place, which is pretty good for a boat of that vintage. And this boat is literally one of the first boats in the world with a canting keel. So yeah, so it's a pretty cool, very unique boat, and it's a weapon. It's a blast to get ripping around on. All right, so here you can see, so it's 21 feet. The hull is 21 feet long. The Sprit's just under 10 feet. It draws 9 foot 6 inches. And then we're 49 feet tall is the mast. And this beam is 9 foot 6 inches. And yeah, and then you can see the dagger board sticking out right there. And that's how far the dagger board sticks out when it's deployed. And yeah, and that's what you put down. So if you've got the keel canted to the other side over there, the leeward side gets the board down. And so, and that's on the upwind. Downwind, you leave the dagger boards up. And yeah, but it's a rocket ship. Look at that Sprit. So as you can see, so yeah, so Rogue 1989 mini Transat. It's the 72nd one ever built. It's built in France. 4-time finisher of the mini Transat. Got 4th place in the last time I did it in 1999, and then it came here, and then it sat here at the yard for about 20 years until I got it 5 years ago and fixed it all up. And so yeah, that is the boat.